You want to try to run a pass? Go to the end zone?
Yeah, but I didn't even play like JV.
You don't have to tell the world that. You ready?
Yeah,
I'll make them think so for a second. Just run straight, hold your hands out. I'll do the rest, all right?
This week, we go cruising with Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott.
Woo! Let's go!
We visited his 7-acre property just north of Dallas.
Should we cheers to just a good day?
Yeah, sure.
Enjoyed it. Appreciate you.
At a nearby country club, the NFL star details plans for his $1 million pledge to fight social injustice.
There's no reason that I still feel funny when a cop's behind me or turns on his lights.
And discusses his highly scrutinized contract situation.
You want to get paid just like everybody else that does your job. It's the respect aspect of it for me.
But we begin with the darkest days Prescott has faced since his Peggy died of colon cancer in November 2013. Following her diagnosis, Peggy tried to shield her worsening symptoms from sons Tad, Dak, and Jace.
Why do you think she kept the illness from you and your brothers for so long, and then even longer the severity of it?
Because, I mean, she wanted us to live our lives, and she wanted us to not necessarily worry about her. I remember when initially she told me that she had it, she was like, "You're not coming home. Don't worry about that. You're not transferring to a school around here. You're staying out there where you want to be." And then her initial deal was, "Well, allow me to be your story. All greats have a story." And at the time, I'm like, I don't want a story. But that's just how she thought about everything. She took the positive out of anything as, hey, I'm sick, but you're gonna go be great because you're gonna allow this to make you stronger, to make you tougher. But Jace at the time was finishing with school and was home, was with her.
How do you think it impacted him?
He saw the times where she would have to spend probably 10 plus hours throwing up, this and that, and saw the medicine she had to take, and almost you can't even put into words the burden. I mean, it's something only Jace knew. And he didn't necessarily share that. That's not easy. It's not something that everybody can talk about. And Jace never was really much of a talker. So when something like that was a huge burden on him, he didn't know how to share it. He didn't know how to be vulnerable about it.
And then this offseason, Tad's fiance gets a call from Jace's longtime girlfriend with the news. How did you find out what happened?
It's crazy. All throughout this quarantine and this off season, I started experiencing emotions I've never felt before. Anxiety for the main one. And then, honestly, a couple of days before my brother passed, I would say I started experiencing depression, and to the point of I didn't want to work out anymore. And hadn't been sleeping at all. But for one reason, one night, I sleep the best I've slept, missing probably 10 plus calls from Tad, and giving my dad enough time to come in my bedroom and tell me what had happened. And so I woke up, probably the best night of sleep I've ever had in 2020 from the worst news, some of the worst news I'll ever get.
I'm reading this message and I don't believe it. Like I literally get up like it's oh my God, my brother just accidentally shot himself. You know, like, oh, he shot himself in the foot, or he shot himself in here, and then I get the message, no, he shot himself in the head.
What was your reaction?
I mean, obviously tears and tears and tears, but I mean, I sat there and tried to gather what had happened, and wanted to ask why for so many reasons. I mean, he was my best friend.
Getting to Dak's house, I just couldn't bring myself to go inside yet. Like, I just couldn't see Dak, because I truly felt like I'd failed both him and my mom, because that was my... Because the last thing she told me was that it was my job and that I had been prepared my entire life to keep us together. And then after she passed, the first words Jay said to me was, you have to be strong enough for all of us. And I really thought I was. Like, I really thought I was. So for him to be in so much pain or whatever it was that was going on, and again, me not to recognize it, because I literally just saw my brother 3 days before it all happened, and everything seemed fine. I get the message that he's gone, and it's like, I failed them all. I failed Dak, I failed Jace because I wasn't there for him, and then more importantly, I failed my mom's memory because I didn't do what she's always asked me to do. I didn't keep her boys safe.
But you know that's not your fault. You did everything you could. If you'd known.
Yeah, if, but like I said, I still feel like I should have.
Have you guys talked about that at all?
No, not at all. Really, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think he and I have talked about it at all, really. So that's probably something when I get home I need to do. The moment you talk about it, especially the moment you talk about it between he and I, it becomes real. So I don't know if that's the way that we're both protecting each other from it or whatever it is.
It showed me of how vulnerable we have to be as humans, how open we have to be, because our adversity, our struggles, what we go through is always going to be too much for ourselves, and maybe too much for even one or two people, but never too much for a community, or never too much for the people and the family that you love. So we have to share those things.
His junior year, we were playing the last game of the year, the district championship game out here at our school, and Parkway, our big rival game, and they were ahead of us with like a minute and a half left. We got the ball on the 20-yard line, and Dak was leaving the sideline. He said, "Coach, we got this." He went out there, and I think he completed 8 passes in a row, and for a touchdown with like 30 seconds left, we won the championship. And we told the coaches that day, that guy's something else.
Dak Prescott is a hero in his hometown of Houghton, Louisiana, but years before leading Houghton High School to 2 district titles, Prescott fell in love with football while growing up at Pine Creek Estates Trailer Park, about 5 miles from the Buccaneers Stadium.
Dak was the biggest football fanatic there was. I remember one Christmas, we bought the Hot Wheels race set, and come around the corner, and he has all of his Hot Wheels cars, but they're not on the track. The track is broken back down and set in the corner. And with his Hot Wheels cars, he's actually running football plays.
Tell about the makeshift football field that was behind where you lived.
That's where I fell in love with the game of football. That's where the game of football became who I am. That was a lot of the times where I'd get hit or whatever and come home and want to cry, and my mom said, "Hey, if you don't want to play at the big dogs, then stay on the porch."
How competitive were you and your brothers growing up?
I mean, so competitive. For anything and everything you could compete on, we were doing it, especially being the youngest. They're 5 and 6 years older than me, so I always had to prove myself. Sometimes we'd see who could take the most pain, no matter what it was, whether me and one of my brothers would drop phones on our ribs, like the big house phone at the time too, real bulky, and drop it on our ribs and see who could take it.
The 3 boys lived with their mother Peggy after she and their father Nathaniel divorced when Dak was just starting school. That meant the oldest brother Tad had to care for his younger siblings while Peggy worked.
Your main responsibility is to make sure nobody takes my boys. That was her big fear, was always that, like CPS would find out that we were being left alone at such a young age, and that somebody would come take us from her.
Why did you guys occasionally sleep in a motel growing up?
Because of my mom. I mean, my mom did whatever it took for us to survive. And sometimes my mom didn't have the money for the electric bill, but she could get $40 or so to get a motel room, and most people would be upset, most people would be mad, but we saw it as a vacation. We saw it as a time to go swimming and to get out of the house.
And you guys had no idea of the reason you were going at the time. It just...
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said my mom did a great job of just masking the adversity or masking the struggle that we went through. But she gave me a leash to go live, to go learn, to go make mistakes on my own, but it was always to trust her, to never do something that would disappoint her. I would rather my mom every day of the week be mad at me than to ever be disappointed. she believed in me. She believed in me like nobody else.
Your brother, when I was talking to him on the phone the other day, he's like, I've never said this out loud before, but after my mom passed, my dad was the glue that held the family together. How so?
It's awesome to hear him say that. Because my dad, I mean, like I said, his best friend was gone, right? So he knew it was on him because he would not want to piss my mom off. He knew it was on him to keep us together. I didn't know that Tad necessarily felt that way. And Tad being the older brother, he was the one that had to be the father figure. And so is that maybe why you can see maybe there's resentment towards my dad from that end, because Tad had to do his job sometimes. But to hear him through their adversity say that, it's touching. There's no reason that as a biracial man, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I still feel funny when a cop's behind me or turns on his lights. You ready to roll?
Maybe not.
You got it in gear?
Wait.
Oh, right there, I'm sorry, yeah. You ready now?
I think so.
All right, let's pull out, let's go.
No justice, no peace, say his name.
The death of George Floyd on May 25, 2020, shook the world. Video of a police officer kneeling on Floyd's neck for nearly 8 minutes sparked mass protests and civil unrest, and caused several NFL players to say they would kneel during the national anthem to bring awareness to social injustice and police brutality. 2 years earlier, in August 2018, Dak Prescott disagreed with kneeling, drawing criticism and prompting a local artist to paint a mural negatively portraying the Cowboys quarterback. At the time, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones required players to stand for the anthem. Leading up to the 2020 season, as athletes across the globe took a knee, Prescott's public opinion evolved.
And it's about expressing yourself. So for you to force your opinion and your perception on somebody, I think isn't very important right now and doesn't matter. So right now it's about listening to the other man, having empathy for him and understanding where he may be coming from. As we've heard Mr. Jones talk about grace and sharing grace and having grace with players and what they want to do. So if I had it my way, that's exactly what we'd do, is express ourselves individually, but love and support one another collectively.
What made you decide to make the $1 million pledge to, according to what you wrote, improve police training and address systemic racism through education and advocacy?
There's no reason that as a biracial man, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I still feel funny when a cop's behind me or turns on his lights. And
Really?
Yes, because if that cop doesn't know me and he has other intentions, what makes me any different than anybody else? But the fact that he knows me, that may, right? And that's so unfair and that's so wrong. So when I pledge this money, I pledge to start a program that before you're ever given a gun or a badge, or maybe even before you ever complete your academy, that you're in your town or you're in your community, that you're going to be protecting and serving, so you know the individuals that you are, and more importantly, they know you. And we need more people with the right hearts to get into being a police, to be police officers, and so they're not viewed wrongly, or they don't want to do this job because they think that they're a traitor or something.
Because you're biracial, your brother said you guys can see both sides, but at times have felt almost stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
How so?
Because we played both sides. That people almost felt like they saw it as unfair. Or they saw it most of the times, I guess you can say, fake. And so for us, it was always about trying to break that barrier on both sides and show that we're all humans and we all struggle. And we realize today in this world, and a lot of people are being educated and understanding now, that one side has had it way tougher.
Your mom was white, dad black, 70s in the South. How aware were you of how unhappy your mom's parents were with the relationship and how, you know, all hell almost broke loose when they found out that she was pregnant?
I knew about it all. Her trying to run away from home at the time, to her coming back, to her and my dad staying together to the racism really only changed in my family from the time that, or from my grandparents, is from the time that they held my oldest brother, and that they saw that this is from my mom, that this is a part of them, that this human being is no different than any other human being out there, regardless of what he looks like. And that was huge that she was able to educate us and tell us that at a young age, and that, hey, it's still out there, and it's not gonna necessarily go anywhere until you can change it. You want to try to run a pass? Go to the end zone?
Yeah, but I didn't even play like JV.
You don't have to tell the world that. You ready?
What celebrations do you remember most?
For me, every time I get in the end zone, it's a simple celebration. Kiss my hand, point to the sky, and thank my mom, and show and honor that moment, because I wouldn't be here without her. But when Thanksgiving Day was a couple of years ago, Zeke put me in the Salvation Army bucket, and I literally tried to stop him. But once he threw me in there, created another great celebration for us to always remember.
A fourth-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott celebrated Pepsi Rookie of the Year honors in 2016. He was off to the best start of his career in 2020 and on pace to shatter the single-season passing yards record until a gruesome ankle injury sidelined him for the season.
This little adversity is just going to be another chapter in the book. I'm excited to move forward and write it. Just once again, can't thank you all enough for your love and your support through it all.
Despite lingering uncertainty after the injury, Prescott and the Cowboys agreed to a 4-year, $160 million deal in March 2021. When we sat down with Prescott the previous summer, the negotiations had stalled.
Your perspective on why the long-term contract extensions taken longer than maybe you guys would have expected going into it?
Not exactly sure. When players do what they're supposed to do on the field and the way they represent, you want to get paid just like everybody else that does your job. It's the respect aspect of it for me. So why it's taking this long is people want it done their way, and I have an idea of how I want it done.
I don't understand what you have to see or what somebody has to do. Jerry and Stephen Jones come out and say that he's their franchise quarterback. But I mean, if he's your guy, then prove it.
What do you think happens?
I think it's done eventually.
What does eventually mean?
Eventually means probably before I have a chance to leave this team.
Okay.
Let's just say that. Yeah.
Prescott doesn't have to go far to get his reps in. A football field is just one of the features on his 7-acre property.
You see a lot of construction in my backyard right now, and it's all because of this bad boy I've got here.
What was the thinking behind this?
Yeah, my whole life, I just know hard work's the #1 answer, and especially during quarantine, it was tough to find somewhere to throw, so I got the idea to put this in my backyard, something I've always dreamed about. You want to try to run a pass? Go to the end zone?
Yeah, but I didn't even play like JV.
You don't have to tell the world that. You ready? I'll make them think so for a second.
Yeah, right.
Just go. Just run straight, hold your hands out. I'll do the rest, all right? Go. Keep going. Ow! There you go. 1 for 1. That was great. It was a touchdown. Don't leave me hanging. But this is my favorite part of the end zone. Right here, I have faith, but then right here under you, you've got me pointing up right in the middle of the A. And faith was the word my mom left me. She left me and my brothers 3 words: faith, fight, and finish. And I'm faith. So just believing in myself, as I said, she believed in me, and making sure I instill that in everything I do. And here it is.
How fast do these go?
This one probably can go 60 or so, I'm guessing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but 45, 50, I'm sure.
So I'm at a disadvantage already.
100%.
I see how it is.
My house, my baby, so you know.
There you go.
You ready to roll? You ready?
I'm good.
All right. Let's pull out. Let's go. Woo! Let's go! There you go, grab! When it rains, this is the spot we can come tear up, get muddy. You want to hit it?
I'll do it. You do it.
Woo! That's the one that's muddy. I just got so much mud in the shoe.
All right, of the teammates, who's the best on these outside of you?
I'd probably say maybe Michael Gallup.
Oh,
if
yeah?
I just had to guess.
Okay, you taking Zeke out?
We've been on him a little bit, but Zeke's like me. We don't want to get too crazy. I just like to hit some mud and ride.
Right.
Enjoy this beautiful land out here. Yeah, you ready? Want to go fish a bit?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's do it. Should we cheers to just a good day?
Yeah, sure.
Enjoyed it. Appreciate you. Don't mess up, Graham. That's good enough.